The market is quite healthy, but one asset is standing out. Virtual protocol is going parabolic. The question is why? Who is buying here? Who's selling here? How sustainable is that really? Let's have a look again at the data most people are not considering. Now, I've published a video on virtual protocol already 3 days ago. And at the time, not many people were interested in that video. So the video underperformed the average video. Now it starts to pick up again as the price is going up. Because here's the thing, at the time we were at $1.12 and now we are at $1.48. And the question is, how much higher can we go? Now, instead of just drawing random lines on charts, calling this technical analysis, I think it's better to understand the source of demand. Who is actually buying? Because when we understand that, we might also figure out if this could continue. Now, have a look at this here. This is the open interest on the perpetual futures market. So there's not just a spot market for virtual protocol, right? The spot market is where we buy and sell the token directly. The perpetual futures market is just bets on the price, usually with leverage. And we can see how the open interest or the amount of bets on the price of virtual protocol is going up steeply. The more bets there are on the price, the more the price also tends to go up. There is some correlation here because perpetual futures bets very often get hedged by the market makers as well on spot. And so the perp trading volume is also hitting new highs. It's now at above 1 billion per day. And here is what tends to happen as the price goes up. It's especially the short sellers, so the people that bet on falling prices, that get liquidated. So very often we see price appreciation due to short squeezes. When there are enough people that bet on falling prices of a token, there is an incentive for market makers and for the centralized exchanges to push up the price, to buy more of the token in order to gain the liquidation fees. Isn't it interesting how the virtual token isn't even among the trending tokens on DEX Screener? We can't find it here. We can only find tokens that are traded through the platform or that have been launched through the platform, but not virtual itself. Virtual itself is not trending on DEX Screener. Isn't it also interesting how the vast majority of liquidity of virtual protocol is not anymore on the Base chain, but it's on Solana. Virtual protocol launched on Base and then afterward expanded to Solana, but it seems like the liquidity of the token is now mainly with the market makers and with the centralized exchanges. They have bought up the bulk of the supply and they can move the price around. And isn't it also interesting how the virtual protocol ecosystem went up by 67.7% in the last 24 hours. So those are all the tokens over here, but how virtual protocol itself went up to the same degree. Here is what this tells me. The price development of individual tokens that get launched from the virtual protocol ecosystem, the price development is directly linked to virtual itself as well. Because the tokens, they are normally bound in liquidity pools versus virtual, not versus the US dollar or versus Ethereum. So there might be 0 trades across those assets within virtual. If the ecosystem token itself goes up by 10%, then as per default, the altcoins launched through virtual also go up by 10%. For example, over here, Game by Virtuals. Game is not traded versus the USDC or versus wrapped Ethereum. It's traded versus the virtual token. And it's the ratio of one asset versus the other that determines the price. If virtual goes up by 10% in US dollars, Game automatically also goes up by 10% in US dollars. And so seeing that the market cap of the virtual protocol ecosystem tokens appreciated exactly the same as virtual itself, that shows me that it's not the demand of the individual tokens in the ecosystem that's driving up the price. It's instead the leverage that gets deployed directly towards virtual itself. We can also see how the Base chain is not necessarily outperforming other chains recently. It's just going with the regular trend. We've already looked at those charts in the prior video. This is the protocol usage, which didn't really pick up that much. The trading volume of the virtual token itself increased a bit, which is not surprising when the price is increasing that much. But the number of traders stays at a comparatively low level. So it is not the demand of individual tokens, of individual AI agent tokens within virtual protocol that's moving up the price. It's also not a lot of new traders that suddenly use virtual protocol that's pushing up the price. It's instead leverage through perpetual futures that's generating short squeezes. that makes all of that price appreciation happen. We can also see this in the decentralized exchange trading volume across various AI agents. The shape of this curve looks pretty much the same for all of those tokens. A little bit of a pickup again because virtual itself is going up, and that directly translates into individual token transactions. And so fundamentally, it's probably not justified that we're going to hit the $4 again. Could it happen just through leverage? Potentially, but then we need to see more and more short squeezes at the same time. This is potentially a quite volatile game. Instead of just buying and holding and hoping for the best, a better strategy would be to use a trailing stop loss in this rally. So as the price goes up, we just adjust the stop loss, and once we turn around, we get stopped out very, very quickly. Because so far, the rally hasn't seen that much volatility, maybe maximum drawdowns of 8 to 9%. This is one of the cleanest manipulated rallies out there. It's in the end all about generating attention. At some point the price will definitely go down again, but I wouldn't hold my breath. I wouldn't short now hoping for the deflation tomorrow. I think this rally can go on for quite a while. It's all about market timing, and it's about figuring out the right risk exposure. Now our community members are making profit in this market if you use leverage wisely, and if you stop yourself out quickly enough in case a trade doesn't end up well. There's still lots of gains to be made. It's just a matter of being smarter than the average market participant. Now, it appears as if everything is going up in this market, but it's not as easy. It's still in the end a player versus player game, and a lot of people got wrecked before this rally. The top performing crypto categories right now are Politify, but also picking up now Solana memes and AI agents, all the kind of tokens that did very well just a few months ago. Now, especially with the smaller altcoins, it's not a fair game. It's player versus player, but it's also insiders versus the public. The public doesn't know as much as the insiders, and so on average, the average retail investor does lose money. It's really a rather mixed picture. Have a look at this. This is Solana's trending tokens. There's some green, there's some red, but in the end, even during the meme coin hype in the last few months, Bitcoin dominance continued to go up. So clearly, it's not enough to just buy a representative basket of altcoins and hope for those to outperform Bitcoin. If we speculate with altcoins, we have to be somewhat active. Otherwise, we just go with BTC. BTC tends to do better than most altcoins most of the time. Now, very often the market makers and the insiders, they get away with this, right? For example, the Ohm token crashed by more than 90%, a drop of 4.5 billion. Up to this day, we still don't know who profited from this crash. The money is not gone. It's just held by somebody else. Now, what can we do in a situation like this? I think the best approach is to try to be as close as possible to the insiders. And that's the nice thing about the blockchain, right? We can see the official transactions. And if we do a bit of digging, we can find out the wallets of people that move prices. For example, over here, we've got transactions of Kyle Chessy and of other influencers that bought SPX 6900 very, very early. When we found the wallet of an insider, we can get notifications whenever those people buy and sell something. And because of that, I made a video on SPX 6900 in the early days. And that video was not that popular because most people didn't know about the token at the time. But it came out when the price was still at 10 cents. It then made this parabolic run of 1,300% and of course crashed back down with the rest of the market. But I try to be early on this channel. I try to cover tokens that are bought by the insiders that still have upside potential. So feel free to subscribe over here. Now here's another example, Fartcoin. We got purchase notifications at 4 to 5 cents and subsequently there was a 4,000% run, then of course our correction, but still from that signal the price is up almost 2,000%. It's all a player versus player game. The insiders make most money. And the way we get all of those signals is again by finding the wallets of people that influence the prices. So again, with the example of Kyle Chessy, we've got 12 of his wallets. In total, we track more than 419 wallets. We find the wallets through various approaches: the NFTs that they hold, the current holdings that they might make public, related transaction wallets, all kinds of different approaches. There are dedicated tutorial videos on how to find influencer wallets available as well. What you're seeing over here is the paid Telegram channel. So we've got a dedicated chat just on finding new influencer wallets, where we then add them to our tracking channel. So that tracking channel is also available, of course, to the premium members. And so the closer we are to the people that move prices, the more we can mimic their performances. So over here, what we see is various trades that have been made by the community. Of course, I'm not sharing the exact tokens that have been traded, but yeah, those are some examples of what is achievable with the right information. So feel free to check it out. It's currently $125 per month. The link is down below. It's thebitcoinstrader.com. You will also see a link to the premium membership now directly popping up on this video. Again, if it's your first time here, feel free to subscribe. A like would be very much appreciated as well. It helps the channel grow. See you next time on YouTube, or see you in premium. Cheers.